So, welcome back to the Triple M podcast where we talk about movement, mindset, and motivation. So, in today's episode, we're going to talk about the topic of I don't have time. And you've probably heard this before, and you're probably going to hear it again from yourself. So, we're going to deep dive into this a little bit today. And if hopefully some of these points I make resonate with you. And it's not always to say, oh, I don't have time as an excuse. It can be sometimes, but it isn't always the case. Like, we all live different lives. We all have different things going on, different responsibilities. And it's not fair to put everyone into the same bracket in the same basket. Like, we all are completely different and unique individuals. So, going into this first, if you don't make time, time will make time for you. And kind of reflect into health and fitness, a lot of health conditions, concerns can be avoided by being more healthy, being more active, eating better quality foods. And you might be someone that says to yourself, I don't have time. And that could be because you've got kids, which I don't. So I'm not going to say I know how you are. I'm not someone to say, okay, oh, yeah, you got kids, like, make time, blah, blah, blah. Rubbish. I'm not that kind of coach. Never have been, never will be. You might have a really busy job, busier than mine. You might have lots of things to take care of and lots of things to look after that really swallow up any sort of free pockets of time that you have. So hopefully I can provide some insight on how you can make time throughout your busy days and your busy schedules to help take those forward steps to better health. And what I meant about if you don't make time, time will make time for you is that if you neglect your health long enough, your body will stop you. And hopefully for any of you guys listening or watching, that never gets the case to you, but it happens. And you've probably had a friend or a family member that has had issues with their health. And if they were more healthy and if they did take better care of the things that they put in their mouth, then things would be different. But positively, that can be changed. And that is something within your control, within all of our control. Because when your time is made for you, you're going to be sick and like there's nothing else you can do other than rest and recover. So you've got time now. So let's kind of take small actionable steps that don't appear to be overwhelming, but then can make massive change in your life. Like things such as just going for walks. Like if you don't walk much, start walking more. If you drive to work, can you cycle or can you walk? Like I work very close to where I live and sometimes I choose to drive. I can be a bit lazy. That's probably something I can do to improve my health. Not saying my health is in a bad place, but just like it's quite comical how close my work is to where I live. And I do drive sometimes, but sometimes I've got things to do after work. That's the excuse I give myself. But that's one thing that I can do for me. Walk to work, leave the car at home, save the petrol. So I would always start to think of what are small things I can add into my day that are not overwhelming and stressful to make it more active. And a lot of the time, it's usually quite simple stuff. But yeah, kind of going back onto that topic again. Can you walk more? Can you drive less? Can you, those sort of things, can you make small little changes like that? With time, a lot of the time, not all the time, due to what occupies us mentally, it makes us feel psychologically that we don't have time when we do. But when you're in a situation, it's hard to see clearly and logically until you kind of put it out into the atmosphere on paper or whatever, that sort of stuff. So like one thing that I always recommend to clients that when they train with me, they do, but when they don't see me, they don't train because of obviously work, family. But what I tend to get people to do, which has been quite helpful over the years, is look at your diary, look at your calendar, and just put everything that you do in there. Then that allows you to clearly see where your pockets of time are. Can I go for a walk at lunch instead of just sitting at my desk? Can I carve out 30 minutes before or after work to do some cardio or to do some exercise? That sort of stuff. I'm not going to be like, oh my God, everyone has the same 24 hours in a day. Yes, we all do. And that's a fact. But we don't all have the same lives. We don't all have kids. Some of us do, some of us don't. We don't. Like, that statement is correct, but it's not relevant to everyone because everyone is different. And I'm very big on treating an individual like an individual, because we're not all cookie cutter. We're not copy and paste. We're all the same. We don't look the same, do we? We're not all identical twins. So approaches have to be taken differently. But even if it's just one change that you make, can make all the difference after a little bit of time. So just think about it like that without trying to overwhelm yourself too much. Carving out time. It's a big, big gem, and it has helped a lot of people that I've worked with, because they think, oh my God, I do have time. But I've just been like probably scrolling Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, social media. That time could be allocated elsewhere to benefit you. I mean, I'm not saying every single minute and every single hour of your day should be, okay, I've got to work towards my... It's bloody exhausting. I was going to swear there, but let's not do that. It's exhausting. And yes, you need to rest. Yes, you need to sleep. Yes, you need to recover. Like, not every single second of your day needs to be proactive, and do you know what I mean? And that's something that I personally struggle with, because I feel like I always need to be doing something progressive, but it's exhausting. And I'm learning to kind of take more time for myself, prioritize myself, because it's exhausting. And like, even with what I do now, started a different role, which I'm very happy about. It's probably the best role that I've ever been in within the industry that I've been in. And I still PT people. And as someone that cares about people, I've always struggled to put myself first. And speaking to people that I care about, and they say, you just got to put yourself first. And it's not easy, but it has to be done. Stop putting other people before you, because it's just gonna eat you. Yes, if you've got kids, yeah, like you are gonna put your kids before yourself. They're the most important people to your life. But like, where you can, where within your power, put yourself first, because if you don't take care of one, you can't take care of number two. You can't take care of number three. You can't be a good person for other people. And I love to be a good person for other people, but stop being a people pleaser. And that's something that I'm learning myself, because you're pleasing others, but you're not pleasing yourself. So everything's just going to be out of balance, and it's just going to make you crash and burn. With not having time, a lot of people say I don't have time because it's just I don't want to go to the gym. Like, a lot of personal trainers, not nagging anyone. I know a lot of great people out there that do great things. But taking a different approach to health and fitness when someone is really time poor, and saying to them, you've got to do an hour in the gym, it's just going to go in that ear and it's going to come out of that one. So what I like to do, and hopefully this helps someone, like, if when I record or when I put these episodes out, if it helps one of you, then I'm like, for me, it's a success. Like, I'm not trying to get on with Stephen Bartlett yet. I'm waiting for the call up, but that will come. But like, you've got to be realistic and kind of put yourselves in the shoes of other people. And what I feel really helps is that when someone is really struggling with time, but they don't like something, they're not going to make time for it. So if we shift that mindset of, okay, I'm really time poor at the minute, but I do need to prioritize my health, because if I'm not healthy, I can't take care of the people around me. I said this a little bit in the last episode. Figure or find something that you enjoy, because you will make time for that, or some time for it, if it's not a lot, and it will benefit you. It'll make you feel better. It will positively impact all parts of your life. So I would start off with that. Because it doesn't always have to be the gym. It doesn't. Like, sorry. Probably the first trainer to ever say that. You don't have to go to the gym. Do other stuff. It's fine. You're not going to die. Also, as well, ask for help. Especially as men, it's difficult because of the stigma and environment and pressure. But if I'm struggling, I'm going to ask for help, because you're just going to struggle internally and individually, and you're just going to crash. So like, with like personal training, what I find so valuable about it, it's not about your training sessions or like your transformations. It's about the accountability that you hold someone to. And that's where the value is. It's not in the training program. It's not in the diet that you get. It's in the accountability. Because one thing I've learned, and it's taken me a long time to learn, but it's really hit home. People will let themselves down before they let down someone else. Let me say that again. People will let themselves down before someone else. So having someone accountable to a time slot, a day in the week, is so valuable. And it triumphs the expense of the investment, because that's what will get that person in there with you. But on their own time, they'll be like, oh, I don't have time. Think about that. That's a very, very powerful tool. If they didn't have you, they probably wouldn't be doing the thing that they need to be doing. So that's important as well. I touched on this a little bit earlier, and it's not to kind of scare people or just like, oh my God, I'm going to die. But like, you've got to find time and take care of yourself, because otherwise your body will stop you and find time for you. So just take your time, breathe, try not to allow things to overwhelm you too much, but start small. Like, you might want to do really big and massive things, but just focus on one thing at a time. As hard as it is, especially for myself, sometimes I sound like a bit of a hypocrite saying this, but it's a progressive journey and I'm working on it. Focus on one thing at a time. So if you can't go to the gym, start off by walking, then just build on that. Because when you start to do things that are positively helping you, you start to build momentum, and it's like a bit of a domino effect. Everything else will come into play when it needs to come into play. But just start small. Don't have 6 things you need to focus on. Start with one. Then once you've kind of nailed one, let's nail 2. Let's nail 3. Then you'll think, oh, 3 months ago, wow, I was doing nothing, but now look at me. And that's come from starting small. And like, something that I like to say to clients and people that are struggling with making improvements, focus on one thing per week. That could be, okay, this week I'm going to walk 10,000 steps. If you're not able to achieve that certain thing, keep doing it until you can do it 7 days consecutively. So say, for example, okay, this week your thing is 8 to 10,000 steps, 7 days a week, whatever happens. And if you're not able to do that, don't beat yourself up. Be reflective. Why have I not been able to do that? Okay, cool. That's the reason why. Cool. Next week we go again. But I know I did say focus on one thing per week, but if you're not able to do it consecutively, keep going until you can 7 days. Obviously, with going to the gym and training, I would not say do that 7 days a week, because you need to recover. You're going to crash mentally and physically. But like with the little habits, do it consecutively until you can do it for a week and achieve it, then move on to something else. But just kind of like, one thing I like to say, slow is fast. And if you've been around people that have been on like crash diets and they've got New Year's resolutions every year and they never achieved them, think about that. And this is not like individually targeting anyone, but just like, why are you at the same point that you was at last year and you set the same goal and you have the same expectations? Lower your expectations or just manage them a little bit better. Because I've said this before, I think in a previous episode, I hate January. And people be like, you've been a PT for God knows how long. Why do you hate January? That's probably like your busiest month of the year. I hate it. I really do. And I say it with passion. Because I hate seeing people set a New Year's resolution and then the year goes by and they haven't achieved it. And there's reasons why. And like, there's simple things that they could do differently to make sure that that New Year's resolution isn't the same next year. If you've got New Year's resolutions and they're different, and because you've achieved one last year, but you're onto something else, that's fantastic. But like, someone will say, all right, random, I want to lose 20 kilos this year. That's very doable. Or for me, anyway. Some have the skill, some don't. That can be done in a year quite comfortably with the right structure and the plan and with the right expectations. But then a year goes by and you haven't lost the 20. And there's a reason why. And it's not to kind of target people or attack people, but just like, something that you've done or something that you didn't do hasn't worked. And it's time to change. If something doesn't work, it's got to change. And it might just be something really, really small, but just think about it like that. Just like, you don't want to have the same New Year's resolutions from year to year. Okay, I want to start saving money this year. Cool. I want to get in shape this year. I want to run a marathon this year. Having different things because you've ticked off something else is fantastic. But like, for me, with like helping people, I only want to keep them for a certain amount of time. They're not my kids. I don't want you forever. I'm sorry. But anyone that I've had in my business longer for 6 months, they don't need me. I'd like to think that I've equipped them to like spread their wings and fly away. I'm not a person that just how I'm going off topic is mad, but I'm not a person that just kind of feeds people on a piece of string. I give them everything. And a little bit of advice for trainers. I'm not saying I'm a mogul, but like what I've learned is when you give people your all and like you don't hold back on like the knowledge and all of that sort of stuff, they stay longer. But when you feed people feed people on a piece of string, they'll be like, oh, why is this guy holding back? Why have I not got to my goals now? They're more likely to go. So like if you're struggling to retain people, give them everything. Because they can find it online. I could go ChatGPT, 12-week program. Easily replaceable, bruv. People stay with people because they like them. So just give them everything. And just kind of like, when it comes to like them not having time stuff, it's hard. Like you know what? I'm going to give an example of a client I actually have. Amazing human being. One of my favorites. Yes, I do have favorites. If you don't like it, tough tip. She's been with me probably up to 2 years now. I trained her through her whole pregnancy and I still train her now. So it's probably been about coming up to 2 years. She doesn't need me. She's a beast. But having that time with me every single week that she's accountable to, she doesn't miss it. And she's managed to pull her husband's arm behind his back and get him involved as well. But she's really time poor. She's got 2 small children, busy job, and she's felt quite down lately because of not being able to prioritize herself as much as she'd want. And I could easily just say, make the time. And that would be a crap bit of advice. And I just say to her, listen, just start off small and do what you can. Whether that's just going for more walks or like doing more active things with the kids or just kind of palming off the kids to the husband a little bit more. Things like that are going to help her. Not me telling her, okay, like, why are you not getting into the gym 3 times a week? Then she made small changes. And the week after, she was a completely different human being. More mentally. She didn't transform from one week to another. But like, it's things like that. You've got to treat people like individuals. And when you do that, changes will happen. Kind of on to the last point with regarding this topic. When it comes to making time, you've got to think what your priorities are, because people make time for the things they want to make time for. And if they're not making time, then it's not a priority. And where it's different to life and fitness, life can be a little bit different. But when it comes to health, you have to make time for it because it's your life. It's the thing that controls your ability to breathe and be here with us and be present. So that's where I say, find something that you enjoy because you'll make time for that. Because everyone will have something that they enjoy. They just maybe haven't figured it out yet. What are the things that you value? That will help, because if you don't value something, you won't give it a second thought. And like, try to get things out of your own head. And like, this is what I was saying about kind of like time blocking and just kind of managing your diary. When I've sat down with people and they've gone through their diaries, they've usually found pockets of time. Oh crap, never knew I never had that time. But it's being occupied by something else that isn't serving them. So yeah, guys, I hope this episode was helpful. I hope it was insightful. Like I always say in every other episode that I record, something like this is still new to me. I really enjoy it. But if there's things that you want me to speak about, if you want me to give some insight on, I'll be more than happy to do so. Just let me know what those things are, because boy, I'm running out of ideas. I'm playing. But I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, share, subscribe, share with someone that you feel like this could benefit. If you're listening on Spotify, please share, please leave a review. But I appreciate you guys always. Until next time, peace.